Hey, welcome back, friends and neighbors. How you doing today? Hope you had a good New Year's. I did. I stayed home, out of the way and out of trouble. And I actually was able to stay up past midnight. So, some of you is probably wondering, and the decision has been made, the head-to-head match on the 10 mil autos, Kimber versus Ronin. And you're probably, well, okay, who's the winner? Decision by knockout, decision by the judge. Well, it's decision by the judge and I'm the judge. Now, there were several criteria the decision is based on. Basically half a dozen factors, and they are as follows: accuracy, how crisp the trigger is, how well the weapon rides in my hand, the sights, how well they work and how easy it is to align them, the basic alignment between the slide and the lower frame, basically the ramp on the fully supported chamber of the barrel, and just overall appearance. Now, let's talk about the accuracy first. If you review the footage from the first range footage, you'll see that once I kind of simmered down and kind of got warmed up on the triggers, both weapons were firing fairly decent groups, and there were several rounds from both weapons that were just impacting in the same hole, right and left, here and there, and then, yeah, they were doing pretty good. Now, the Kimber was shining a little bit better because there was a little section of that firing where it's just dumping them in there. Just you can just barely see the paper moving because they're all hitting so close together. The Ronin did not do that. Now, there are a couple of factors you can attribute that to. Let's talk about sights. They both have adjustable rear sights, Bomar style, with front blades and high-vis inserts in them, and they're both easy to see. But the main difference between the Kimber and the Ronin is the front sight blade on the Kimber is about 2.5 thousandths thicker than it is on the Ronin. But the gap in the rear sight on both pistols is the same size. That means that the front sight on the Kimber doesn't leave quite as much room on both sides of it in that gap, so you can align your sights a little bit finer. The thinner blade on the Ronin allows for more daylight on both sides, and that means you can have a little more wiggle room on finding center, which leads to a little bit lower degree of accuracy because it's hard to really tell if you got it in the center because you got way too much light between the blade and the side of the gap. Like I said, they're both adjustable. They're Bomar style. There's white dots on both sides. Now, the dots on the Kimber are just a little bit larger, not by much. The trigger on the Kimber now and then has just a little bit of movement, maybe 1.5 millimeters before the trigger breaks, and it's crisp and it's clean. The Ronin, man, you start pushing, it just loads up and goes, and I really like that. I really like that. As far as overall fit and finish goes, though, the Ronin is lacking. The Kimber, when you move that slide, man, you hear the clicks and clacks to front and back, but you don't get a whole lot of noise in between. And that Ronin, even though I polished it up and got rid of a lot of that trashy noise, it still has some noise in it. And it's also showing on the undercut portion of the slide, just under the forward serrations, where the front of the lower receiver slides past that recoil spring keeper portion of the slide at the bottom. It's touching it on one side and it ain't touching it on the other. That tells me we got just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit of misalignment in the lower rail upper slide mating surfaces. That's probably where the noise is coming from. The rear chamber of the rear port, where the feed ramp comes up into the chamber. Both these barrels have fully supported chambers. As you transition from the ramp into the chamber on the Kimber, it's a smooth, rounded plane or plateau. When you transition up the ramp into the back of the chamber on the Ronin, it's a much, I won't say aggressive edge. It's not sharp and catchy, but it is there. The Kimber has a rounded contour, and the Ronin is right in. That makes a little bit of difference in ease of feeding for the rounds coming in, and Kimber takes the point on that one. So other than that, I mean, I really like the looks of Ronin with the two-tone, with the black and the stainless steel. My first ever custom built government model was that way. I just really like the looks of that. It's hard to get by that. The magazine well on my Kimber is already a beveled edge. Fast, get them in fast. I can put that on the Ronin, but that's additional expense. And it means I have to do some inlet cutting on the grips to make way for the ears that hook around the hand grip bolsters at the bottom. Make room for that. So that's added expense. They both got excellent grip safeties. They both have excellent stippling on the rear, on the mainspring housing. They both have excellent serrations, forward and rear. They both have nice barrels. Man, but we got to go back to accuracy and function. Now, obviously the Ronin had a few more hiccups, 6 more, in fact. That was due to it being new and tight, I'm sure, and the ammunition didn't help that it was cheap ammo. But even after I went through it, slicked up the surfaces that needed slicking, it was doing a whole lot better. In fact, it shoots really well now. And even firing the test loads at the very end of that video, the hot ones, it was eating them like candy. It was doing a good job. So she's held for stout. She's tough. But when you boil it all down, I got the best accuracy, repeatability accuracy out of the Kimber. I really wanted that Ronin to beat the Kimber on that. I really did. I've been waiting on that Ronin for over 2 years, but it couldn't. For functioning, it just couldn't touch the Kimber. For fitment of the upper and lower, for smooth of operation, it just doesn't shine as well. It's a good piece, and it's a good gun, but it does not match the quality of the Kimber. It has good accuracy, but that accuracy is harder to get because the front sight blade is just somewhat more narrow than the front sight blade on the Kimber. It feeds ammo reliably, But when you put a full magazine in it with the slide lock back, and then you hit the slide lock release lever and it goes forward, you can tell it's got just a little kind of a double thump when it goes in. Kimber does not do that. It is just chop, it's there. The Ronin is ka-chop, and you can't get that out of there. I mean, maybe you can, but I'm not going to spend the time and the expense to do it. So, judge's decision. Which one stays? Which one goes? Ladies and gentlemen, defender of the faith, defender of the title, and still reigning champion, the Kimber Custom 2 10mm auto government model. She's my baby. I gotta say it, she's my baby. She does a better job. Not by a great deal. They're both damn fine guns, and that Ronin, it could be better. It would just take a little extra TLC at the factory, and it would be just up there on par with this almost. So, thanks for stopping by. You have your decision, and I hope you guys had a great New Year. And I'll be seeing you real soon with a new toy here in a week or so, 2 or 3 maybe. Depends on shipping. And hopefully you'll get to come out and join me with that too. You guys have a great one. Best wishes for the new year. Hope you ain't got too big a hangover. I left those behind a long time ago. You guys have a good one. I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, it's hard to beat a Kimber. See you guys somewhere downrange. Bye.